and the third largest urban area in Canada. Calgary's rapid growth is due in large part to the city being at the center of the country's oil industry. The city is well known for being attractive, especially for engineers, mechanics, miners, and entrepreneurs. The progressive school system and abundance of parks and playgrounds make it the perfect place to raise kids. The crime rate in the area is low, and unemployment is slowly improving when more and more new immigrants are coming to live and work in Calgary. 4. Burlington, Ontario. Burlington is a perfect place for those who want big city living in close proximity to nature and the great outdoors. The lifestyle available is great, with plenty of schools, colleges, and healthcare facilities available to residents. Burlington is one of the more expensive cities in the ranking. However, this city earns high marks for low unemployment, pleasant weather, low crime, high incomes, and good traffic. Finding a job is fairly easy in Burlington. The leading industrial sectors are food processing, packaging, electronics, transportation, business services, and chemical and environmental sectors. 3. Quebec City, Quebec. In addition to its beauty, Quebec City offers an unbeatable quality of life for newcomers. Prices for day-to-day amenities are very competitive, while tuition fees are affordable, and healthcare is free of charge. In Quebec City and the surrounding region, French is the predominant language of conversation. The people here are known for their friendliness, conviviality, and respect for diversity. Every year, people from around the world decide to unpack their bags here. In short, Quebec City is a great place to live. 2. Oakville, Ontario. Oakville is a great city to live in Canada. It's a lovely suburban town in southern Ontario, just 30 minutes from downtown Toronto. The city allows residents easy access to the amenities and job market in both Toronto and Hamilton, while maintaining the benefits of a smaller suburb. Oakville is a popular location for the life science companies, specializing mainly in pharmaceuticals and elder care. The prices of real estate in Oakville are very affordable, and the weather is the best in Canada. 1. Ottawa, Ontario. Ottawa has a very low crime rate, high quality of life, great public transit, and low population. The city is known as one of the most educated cities in the country, as it is home to high-profile universities, such as the University of Ottawa. The cost of living in Ottawa, although higher than average, is still quite affordable. Unemployment in Ottawa is relatively low and stands at 5.3%. The most growing areas of employment are natural and applied sciences and related fields, education, law, community, and management occupations. English is understood everywhere, and learning French might benefit you in terms of integrating faster in the community or in getting certain types of employment. Thanks for watching the video, and see you next time.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Mr. this is North America, and the literal icing on the top here is Canada. Now, let's check it out, eh? Canada is the second biggest country in the world by total area. A vast expanse of forest, prairie, mountain, tundra, and subarctic iciness, bridging 3 oceans in a bracing chorus of 50,000 islands and 30,000 lakes. And yes, it's all very scenic, so let's just stop before the other countries get jealous. This gargantuan resource-rich mass of Earth was settled first by Paleolithic tribes crossing over from Siberia, hunting musk oxen, mastodons, and mammoths. These indigenous peoples, for millennia, survived as hunter-gatherers in places like this, killing their prey with stone tools in the bitter cold. Over time, many tribes established settlements and moved on to agriculture and pastoralism, subscribing to an animist religion overseen by shamans and expressed in ceremony. War between clans occurred, and slavery was practiced, most commonly in the Pacific West. The first Europeans arrived around the year 1000, Vikings, who settled for some time in Newfoundland and then went away. In 1497, John Cabot explored the Labrador coast in a fruitless search for a northwest passage to Asia. Since the waters were so abundant with fish, Europeans began angling en masse here, but for decades none of them were really interested in settling. In the 1530s, French explorer Jacques Cartier navigated the St. Lawrence River and gave the land its name, Canada, after the Iroquois word for village. But domestic troubles stymied any efforts to French colonization, and it wasn't until 1605 that Samuel de Champlain established the first settlement at Port Royal, Nova Scotia. He later founded Quebec. Soon, a lucrative trade in pelts, animal furs, was set up with rival native tribes siding with rival European states for land, money, power, the usual. The King of France's advisor, Cardinal Richelieu, pushed for further French colonization, and settlers poured in along with Jesuit missionaries. Meanwhile, Mr. Henry Hudson had claimed this region for England, and no, Britain was not content with just that, and got a whole lot more after beating the French in the 7 Years' War. While Britain attained mastery over Canada, its American colonies revolted and gained independence. But the Revolution did not ignite the North, so Canada remained a possession of the Crown, and indeed, Canadians proved loyal British subjects, fighting America in the War of 1812, which ended in stalemate, but left Canada intact and unconquered. After introducing a number of crucial political reforms in the mid-19th century, Canada could focus on expansion. Railways were built, industries ripened, cities grew, and Canada extended its territory, not without resistance. Confederation in 1867 saw John Alexander Macdonald become first Prime Minister. The Wild West was tamed, complications arose and still persist from the passage of the Indian Act, and the miseries heaped upon the First Nations with the residential school system debacle. The Klondike Gold Rush arose, and 600,000 Canadians fought for Britain in the First World War, where they distinguished themselves. The blossoming economy suffered terribly from the Great Depression, which no amount of tariffs could ameliorate. But stability and better times returned under Mackenzie King. Relations with the US improved, and Canada rallied to the Allied cause in World War II, not only sending Britain troops, but also steady shipments of badly needed food and supplies. Aside from its massive contributions, the war left Canada highly industrialized and ready for the future. Canada's prosperity grew further in the following decades. Immigration was encouraged, with many arrivals from southern Europe, altering the traditional English-French norm of the nation. The popular Pierre Trudeau introduced a policy of official multiculturalism in 1971, opening Canada up to millions of immigrants from all over the world. Canada gained full sovereignty from the UK in 1982. Meanwhile, separatists in Quebec were calling for independence. Their referendum would be narrowly defeated in 1995. Canada has been an active participant in many UN peacekeeping missions and refused to join the US invasion of Iraq. Canada today is among the richest countries in the world and ranks among the highest in quality of life, and millions of tourists travel to it every year, visiting cities like Vancouver, Winnipeg, Montreal, and Toronto, and visually supping on the impossibly attractive natural wonders found all over the country. I personally wouldn't mind stopping by that serene slice of heaven, Prince Edward Island, immortalized by Lucy Maud Montgomery in her Stories of Anne of Green Gables. So that's the super quick history of Canada thus far. A blessed land that has given us a lot in science, literature, sport, cinema, music, and most importantly provides our pancakes with pristine maple syrup. Not bad for a country whose national symbols are a leaf and a beaver. But what awaits Canada as it strides on into tomorrow? Comment below, but for now, bye-bye!
There comes a moment when my heart must stand alone on this lonely path I've chosen, like a house that's not a home. Sometimes when I feel I've had enough and I feel like giving up, you will me to be all I can be. Now nothing can stop me. I believe in the power that comes from a world brought together as one. I believe together we'll fly. I believe in the power of you and I. This is the moment we have dreamed of all our lives. We'll be the change we wish from others. We'll stand tall for what is right. And in my heart there'll be no doubt. The arms of the world will come reaching out and embrace me to be all I can be. Now nothing can stop me. I believe in the power that comes from a world brought together as one. I believe together we'll fly. I believe in the power of you and I believe the time is right now. Stand tall and make the world proud. I believe together we'll fly. I believe in the power of you and I believe in the power of you and I believe, I believe, I believe in. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe, I believe in. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe, I believe in. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe, I believe in you. I believe together we'll fly. I believe in the power of you and I believe the time is right now. Stand tall and make the world proud. I believe together we'll fly. I believe in the power of you and of you and I.
Hey, I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader, and I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not a boot. I can proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. Diversity, not assimilation. And that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. A toque is a hat. A Chesterfield is a coach. And it is pronounced Zed, not Z. Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation of hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to everybody coming from around the world. It's fantastic that you're joining us here this afternoon, this evening, this morning, depending on what part of the world you're coming from. So my name is Dennis Brazolot, and I'm actually the owner of the company, Brazolot Migration Group. And I'd like to say welcome to everybody. And what I'd like to see is in the chat room, type me the country where you are right now. Not your nationality, but where are you sitting and watching this webinar today? So it'll be interesting. Ireland, Jamaica, Wagwan, Jamaica, Scotland, Trinidad, Bangladesh, Jamaica, Russia. Fantastic. TT, lots of TT. Excellent, excellent. We do know that we have a record of attendance. Kia ora to anybody coming from New Zealand. It was very early down there. So welcome to everybody. As I said, my name is Dennis Brazolot. I'm the owner of the immigration firm Brazolot Migration Group. I come from a family of 9 children. I'm the second youngest, and I come from an area, well, near Toronto, a place called Guelph, Ontario. And from there, I was born and raised and educated in Hamilton, Ontario, with diplomas in business and marketing. And I was a real estate broker for a number of years. My family is the oldest home building firm in Canada, and I was born and raised in new construction all my life. From there, did my schooling, came out and became a real estate broker. I'm not an estate agent for those in the UK. I was a real estate broker for a number of years until an opportunity came up for me to join an immigration firm in the United Kingdom. And I came over in 1995. And I've been practicing immigration ever since. I'm also a licensed recruiter in some of the provinces that we need to be. And most important for you is I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. You see 2 flags there, Canadian and Italian, because I happen to be both Italian and Canadian citizen. What's important to you is I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. So if you've done any of these workshops before, fortunately, you're not dealing with any cowboys out here. We have a long history and a solid history in helping people migrate coming to Canada. So, Canada, you are looking at the second largest country in the world. Do not kid yourself. Please don't think that if you have a brother or sister in Toronto and you can live in Vancouver, you could see each other on weekends. It's not going to be that conducive. We are the second largest landmass in the world next to Russia. We have 10 provinces and 3 territories. And the differences in living in one province to another province can be drastic. Living in Halifax, Nova Scotia is completely different than living in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And you cannot move to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, unless you can spell it and pronounce it. Living in Vancouver, British Columbia is completely different than living in Toronto, Ontario, even though they're large cities. So where you want to go is pretty much going to be up to you, unless you're going to need a job to come into my country. Then you could be restricted in going to a certain place in order to facilitate your immigration. As I mentioned, I know we have some Italians here tonight. Buongiorno. I am an origin of Italian citizenship. How did this happen? Well, my grandfather came from Italy to Canada many, many years ago. And the way my grandfather immigrated to Canada makes me an Italian citizen today. So I was fortunate enough, and I did work and live in the United Kingdom from 1995 until the year 2003. And I was in Maastricht, the Netherlands. I was living in Manchester for that time. And having lived there, I restarted the company over there. In 2003, I sold it and moved back to Canada. And which is good because with Brexit now, I might not be able to work there anymore. But we do travel to the United Kingdom an awful lot. So for those coming from Great Britain, those coming from TT, Jamaica, we do make our way around the world to do our private interviews with you. So my grandfather immigrated, and I have a copy of my grandfather's papers. These are his actual immigration papers. If you look at the top left, it says he came on the SS Julio Cesare, or the Julius Caesar. It was a very famous migrant ship. In the top right-hand corner, he came in the year 1923. The highlighted sections: why did my grandfather, Ermenegildo Brazolot, come to Canada? Well, the object was to establish oneself. And I highlighted he had $25 in his pocket, which was the minimum amount of money you had to have in 1923 to come to Canada. Highlighted sections as well: does he have tuberculosis? No. Does he have any physical defects? And the answer was no. So there was money questions and medical questions 100 years ago when it came to your immigration papers. So that's my no-no. That's my grandfather on my father's side. On my mother's side, my grandmother came up from the United States. She came 5 years earlier, 1918, and her complete immigration papers is this one card. She had to register with the local police department and her address, and that's all she had to have back in 1918. Well, immigration has changed. There's a lot more that you have to do now. So my background: I married Debbie, and Debbie was born British, and her family immigrated to New Zealand when she was 2 years old, and Debbie was raised in New Zealand. So Debbie has both a British passport and she has a New Zealand passport. Well, I have an Italian passport and I have a Canadian passport. Well, Debbie and I had two boys, Massimiliano and Alessandro, and they have all four passports. They are Italian, they are Canadian, they are British, and they are New Zealand citizens. They're lucky little devils that can pretty much live and work anywhere they want for the rest of their lives. Now, I've always liked this photo, but they help me with the webinars every now and then. They ask for an update, a change. Yes, the boys are now 21 and 15 years old, and this is Max and Alexander a year ago taking down their tree fort in our backyard. So they are grown adults now, but they're still lucky guys with 4 different passports. So what do? Well, Brazolot Migration Group has 3 separate divisions to help you out. Our relocation division is helping you with your soft landings coming to Canada. Your CVs, your tax cards, your medical cards, driver's license, your first accommodation, getting things up and running for you so you're not crawling and you can get established as quick as you can when you come to Canada. We do have an employment division. As I said, I am a licensed recruiter, and some of you will need a job to get a visa, and others will be able to get a visa first, and then you're probably going to want a job. So we do have an employment division that will help you out along the way. By far, our biggest department is our visa team. Without a visa, nothing is going to happen. There's no relocation. There's no job search needed because you have to be eligible or score for your visa first. And you can see the categories that we deal with there, and we'll go into a little bit more detail. We have a very strong team at Brazolot Migration Group. We have Helen Brereton, who will be joining us later. She's our visa manager. Donna Bellucci, who's our careers and relocation manager, helping with your soft landings in your job. We have Amanda Morgan, who will be doing the chat in the bottom left-hand corner. So when you have technical questions, Amanda will be helping us out today. Joanne Hunt in our case processing department. We have Melissa Allen, who's also in our case processing department. Jennifer Kelly, who's relatively new, just joining us, coming with us. Catherine Byrne, who was with us many years ago and has rejoined us again, which is fantastic. My son, Massimiliano, does help out here, and he's on a part-time work contract with us. And rounding everything off, we have Peter Kelly, who's also in our administration department. So tonight is a mini web expo, which means we talk a little faster. We are condensing a 5-hour version into 2 hours for you. But if you miss out on this, we do have a Canada You Can Go series. They're 20-minute topics just on the visa issues. We also have full expos, which are the 5 hours, which we have other people present with us, real estate, young Canadians talking about their experiences, and different parts in that as well. So the Canada You Can Go series are in the evenings, so the afternoon in Canada, about 7 o'clock, 7:30 p.m. in UK time. By all means, you can go to the website and register later if you wish, but they're on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of November, and we just focus on the visa categories in a little bit more detail there. You want to have some fun, go to our website and go to the section that says videos, and we've got staff and ex-staff who have put together videos of why you should move to Canada, showing the winter season there. We do talk a lot of abbreviation and jargon, so we will use terms. We're not trying to lose you. It's just second nature for us, and we don't mean to, but anybody watching the webinar today, you can send an email at info@brazolotgroup.com and request a copy of tonight's slides, and we will send those out tomorrow. So you can get the abbreviations there. And speaking of which, everybody should have had emailed an official agenda so you know what's happening today. If you've registered in the last 48 hours, you might not have the agenda. So again, you can email info@brazolotgroup.com and request the agenda right now, and we'll send out the agenda while the webinar is going on. No problem there. Canada, everybody, big country, big country, and there's lots of things you can do. I'm very proud of my country, born and raised here, and I've seen everywhere you can see on that map, with the exception of I've never been to the territory of Nunavut, which is the top blue territory. But I have been to the Northwest Territories and Yukon Territory, all of our provinces in Canada, and I love my country to pieces. So a general overview of the immigration programs that are on offer and what you can do when you're coming to Canada. We are going to be dealing with legal and visa issues, and we are going to talk about the forms and applications you're going to need to go through. Well, Canada shares similar types categories with other countries. We have family category, provincial nominations, temporary classes, business and economic. And this is what we're going to go through in today's session. Family category, there's different ways of coming forward with your spouse, partner, children, or parents. When we're looking at provincial nomination programs, they have a breakdown as well. Temporary classes, we will talk about how to get a study permit and a work permit. Visitor visas are part of the temporary classes, but it's not a category we actually help people with. Business categories, we're going to focus on that a little bit later because this opens up the doors for an awful lot of people to come in as a business person. And rounding everything off, and what most people will qualify under will be economic programs, skilled worker, Canadian experience class, and skilled trades. We are going to talk about our evaluation worksheet. This is going to be an important document for you to do, and we have two different offers for you later. We'll go into detail about what you would need to do to progress your application a little bit further. Page 1, your details, address, phone numbers, the wonderful stuff. Page 2 is all about your education and your work experience and your language capabilities. Page 3 is about your financial assets, if you have family overseas, your future intentions. And page 4 is all about if you have a spouse or partner, a bit of details on them. If you don't have a spouse or partner, you're filling in 3 pages only, but you still need to sign and date the bottom of that form. We then provide professional reports to show you the categories you're going to qualify for. Everybody, we are limited by a web, which is by the internet, and there's not a lot we can get in 2 hours. There's over 182 different styles of visas that you're going to be qualified for. We will assess these for you and give you a report later. Because we are your partner in migration, your immigration strategy is going to be paramount to what you're going to do to come to Canada. What is your best way? What's your easiest way? What's, possibly your only way, which could be the hardest way. But we will go through this with you step by step. We're going to make sure that you're going to get the right and proper advice that you're going to need to know. As I said, we have a multitude of people coming from all over the world tonight, which is fantastic. It's excellent to see everybody on here and registered. And without further ado, I want to give you a little bit about stereotypes about my country. So this is a bit of a giggle. So everybody relax, watch this, and we'll be back to go into our presentation fully. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Timmy's and hockey, syrup and bacon, Molson and Mounties at your can stations, throwing on some cheese and gravy on top of our fries. That's a poutine. And we wear our plaid sweaters when we walk amongst the northern lights. Rockies and prairies, oceans and lakes, other than winter, all the seasons are great. Brushing off the snow a little longer than we like. But you won't hear us complaining, 'cause that just wouldn't be polite. No, man. 'Cause up here in Canada, the air's clear, the weather's adequate, we all cheer. We're pretty passionate, and everybody has a pet polar bear and a moose. Yeah, up here in Canada. Celsius, kilometers, prime ministers and provinces. We maybe say it different, but we always keep our promises. We said we'd win the gold back in 2010, and we did. But because we're so nice, we'll let you win every now and again, but not too much. 'Cause up here in Canada, we like beards, we think they're fabulous. We don't fear if people laugh at us for wearing 6 pairs of long underwear. Yeah, up here in Canada. basketball, telephones, wonder balls, and hockey. Snowmobiles, ketchup chips, and even walkie-talkies. Peanut butter, garbage bags, the mighty foghorn. Just a few things that you can thank us for. Shatner, Carey, Myers, Gosling, Reynolds, and Reeves. Candy Short, Michael J, and all of Schitt's Creek. Celine, Shania, Adams, Bieber, Bublé, and Drake. We're sorry about Nickelback, yeah, that was a mistake.
We're sorry.
We're sorry. Yeah, we're sorry, eh? We're so sorry. 'Cause up here in Canada, we like beer and our cannabis. And each year, we all get taxed a bunch, but everybody gets free health care. Yeah, up here in Canada.
Welcome back, everybody. So I've got a question there on the screen. Why are we looking to immigrate? Chat some reasons, type it in there now. What are some of the reasons why everybody's looking to immigrate? I want to see them now, because doing this 26 years, your answers really haven't changed, but I see school, I see good lifestyle, better work, better life, work-life balance, school, snow, excellent, better life for family, nature, better life for sun, beautiful country, beautiful place to open a business. Well, guess what, everybody? We've been doing this for 26 years, and you're going to see that your answers haven't really changed, okay? People are looking for different opportunities of coming to Canada, and unfortunately, we do offer these for you. Question, how many have been to Canada before? Put that in the chat room. Have you been to Canada before? How many times have you been to Canada? Okay, so we've not been once. How many have family in Canada? That would also be 5 times for someone. Okay, 4 times. Someone's never been there. Well, guess what? A lot of people have actually immigrated to Canada without being here, and you're going to talk to some people later today. So my final question to this before we progress is, what are some of the reasons, sorry, not some of the reasons, how many of you have been thinking about immigrating over 5 years? Put 5 in the chat room. If you've been thinking about it over 5 years, put 5. How many have been thinking 1 to 5 years? Put in the number 1. How many have been thinking 6 months to a year? Put 6. And who woke up this morning and said, what the hell, let's immigrate? Put in W. Okay. There's a couple of W's there. Okay. There's no right amount of time it's going to take to come to a decision about migrating to Canada, but it is something you are going to have to make a decision on. Okay. We'll give you a brief overview. There's other factors to consider when you're coming to this country, but fortunately, we do lead the world in an awful lot of different areas. We have a fantastic coast to coast, 4 different seasons. We do have a cold winter. We're not going to kid you. We do have a bloody hot summer. We're not going to kid you. Spring and fall are very similar to other temperate climates as well, but we are an outdoor lifestyle. We don't stay indoors when it comes to the winter season. Our sports are a little bit different than some other countries. Okay, ice hockey is obviously prevalent in Canada. We are king when it comes to the ice sheet. But we do play gridiron, American-style football. We play basketball, which was a Canadian invention, which you saw in the video. And we do also enjoy baseball. And we've had world-class winners in terms of the Toronto Raptors winning the basketball championship. The Toronto Blue Jays have won the world championships. And one of the things that we have is we're very, do I say this, unknown? A lot of people don't realize what famous people are out there which are actually Canadian, or what are Canadian inventions like the BlackBerry and McCain's Foods. So rugby, yep, it is the fastest growing team sport in Canada as we speak. Size comparison, just so you have an idea, there is Great Britain on your map for you, okay? And the magnifying glass, we've also put Trinidad and Tobago there for you as well, just to give you an idea of the concept of the size in Canada. Again, it's a regulatory country. You have to have your license and cards for pretty much everything you want to do. So there's my medical card, my driver's license, my hunting card, my passports coming in and out. So you're not going to escape any of the red tape that you're going to have to do from your own countries. When it comes to the economy, we are in the G8 of nations. We are one of the largest economic countries in the world, being one of the smallest countries in the world in terms of population, and we have held our ground pretty well. Education system is ranked 5th in the world from kindergarten until you start university or college. And that is a proud fact for Canada, okay? Terms are a little bit different if you're coming from the Southern Hemisphere, but for the Northern Hemisphere, they're very similar. September to end of June, early June, and for college university, you're getting out in the middle of April. Healthcare, okay? We have a national healthcare cover, which is free to all citizens and permanent residents and temporary residents who are there on work permits. Private healthcare cover is available, but it's only for ancillary services in Canada. So it's not for your main health that you're going to need. It's for having a private room in a hospital or getting physiotherapy benefits. When it comes to taxes, Canadians will complain we pay too much tax, but on a relative scale, we actually pay pretty good for the services that we do get. And what's very, very important is your income, okay? The median after-tax income for families was $63,000 in 2019. But if we take the seniors out, the after-tax income in Canada is $93,800. World Happiness Report right there in the middle. We used to rank number 1. I don't know why we're not as happy anymore. But when we look at business rank, we do extremely well. And on a free public healthcare system, we're ranking 4th in the world. Is education free in Canada for PR and citizens? It is until the children go to college or university. So in today's mini web expo, what we said is we are going to show provincial videos just to give you a taste of different provinces across the country. And let's line up our first one. And I think what we're going to do is we're going out to the province of Alberta. So let's get this queued up. And we're going to see you guys shortly after we take a quick look at the province of Alberta. See you guys shortly.
So hold, close your eyes and see me go old. Feels the chase a breeze. Hold your eyes up to the trees. Have you ever seen the sun jumping into a stream? It's really something to see.
Hi everyone. welcome to tonight's webinar. I'm going to take you through the family categories and the provincial nomination. So my name's Helen, and I've been working at Brazolot Migration now since 2006, but I have been working in the immigration field for over 20 years. So lots of experience helping people move to Canada over those years. Like Dennis, I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, so we're authorised to assist and represent you with your applications. And despite the accent, I am Canadian. So I've been through the exact process that you're all thinking of doing. I went out to Canada on a temporary work permit, then got my permanent residency, and eventually got my Canadian citizenship. So I know what you're all going through. But Dennis and I are both registered with ICCRC, which is the licensing body for immigration consultants. So it's really important that if you are going to get advice and get somebody to represent you with an application, that you do use somebody who is authorised by ICCRC or is a Canadian immigration lawyer to represent you. So what we're going to look at first is the family class category. So because this is a mini expo, we are not going to spend very long looking at these categories tonight. So there were so many messages coming up before about who had family in Canada. I couldn't quite see who did, who didn't. But there is a family sponsorship category available for Canada. The person who can sponsor you has got to be a Canadian citizen, a Canadian permanent resident, or somebody registered in Canada as an Indian under the Canadian Indian Act. So bear in mind that if you've not got a Canadian family member at the moment who can sponsor you, just bear in mind that in a few years' time, once you've got your Canadian permanent residency status, you could be the person sponsoring your family member. So who can you sponsor? These are the three categories of who can be sponsored. It is very closed categories. So you can sponsor your spouse or your common law partner. Your common law partner is your partner that you've lived with for at least 12 months before submitting the application. And you can sponsor dependent children up to the age of 22. When your dependent children are 22 years of age, they have got to qualify in their own right for their Canadian visa. You can also sponsor your parents and grandparents. This slide does need updating since it still says May 2020. And so there is a parent and grandparent sponsorship program. It's hugely popular, as you can imagine. You've got to have lived in Canada for 3 years, and you've got to show that you've earned, you've got a certain level of income. So your parents don't have to show they've got any funds, but as the sponsor, you would need to show that you've got funds available, and you would show that through your tax returns. It's massively popular, but there is a category there if you are interested in bringing your parents or your grandparents to join you in Canada. And then there's a category, sponsor your relatives. What do we mean by relatives? It's quite a loose term there. So relatives is somebody who is, there's one category called the lonely Canadian. So if you are a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and you've got no other family members either overseas or in Canada itself who are already Canadians or permanent residents, then you can sponsor that one remaining family member. And you can also sponsor orphaned relatives as well under that category. So it's a difficult category to qualify under. Most of the applications we'd be looking at doing would be under the family class, spouse, and common law partner. I'm going to look at the provincial and territorial nominee program. So lots of people will have heard about this program. Sorry, just flicking through there. Sorry, I meant to mention as well when I started that anybody who was watching on Facebook, obviously you can't watch the full session on Facebook, but if you register, then you can join us live. Under the provincial nominee programs, this is a list of the provinces and territories in Canada who offer provincial nominee programs. And these are programs whereby